A very good afternoon, everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to extend our warm welcome to our principal, Dr. Sister Ananda Amrit Mehel, our keynote speaker, Dr. Sister Bernadette Porter, chairperson of our managing trust of the Society for the Higher Education of Women in India, Dr. Sister Anila Varghese, Vice Principal Arts, Vice Principal Science, Vice Principal Admin, the IQAC coordinator, all our dear staff members, students, and their parents to this virtual degree conferring ceremony of batch 2019-20. We will officially begin our ceremony with the college song.
And may we know that thou art near. We long to soothe our earthly pain. We wish to be a might and main. Our hearts we offer thee anew. Our lives shall stand for all that's true. Thy wisdom shall direct our way. Thy love shall be a joy and stay. Our hope shall be true liberty, our freedom found in first in thee.
I now invite our esteemed principal, Dr. Sister Ananda Amrit Mehel, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to each one of you. Our chief guest, Sister Dr. Bernadette Porter, former Vice Chancellor of Roehampton University, UK, and one of our own sisters, Dr. Sister Anila Varghese, Chairperson and Trustee of the Society for the Higher Education of Women in India, our managing trust, and our provincial superior as well. Ms. Gilda Pereira, Vice Principal Arts, Dr. Rajbinder Kaur Dedhia, Vice Principal Science, Dr. Anaga Tendulkar, Vice Principal Admin, and Sister Annie Peter, Vice Principal Junior College. The staff, teaching and non-teaching, whose tireless striving, not just over the last couple of weeks to prepare this event, but over the years that have gone to bringing you to this moment, and parents, students, but most important of all, our new graduates. This graduation ceremony is being conducted on behalf of the University of Mumbai. As you know, since 2015, the University of Mumbai has decided that the degree certificates issued by them will be distributed at the college level. And so most colleges have their degree conferring ceremony after the university has its official convocation. This year's degree conferring ceremony, though delayed, is particularly meaningful. The pandemic and the lockdowns turned the world as we know it upside down. And your class in particular had to live through months of debilitating anxiety and uncertainty as you waited to know how and when the examinations would be held. Though you finished your final exams in October 2020, somehow there has not yet been a formal closure of your life at Sophia. Today's ceremony is that moment of closure. I'm deeply grateful to our sisters, Dr. Sister Anila Varghese and Sister Bernie Porter, Sister Dr. Bernie Porter, our chief guest today, for gracing the occasion with their inspiring presence. For me personally, these women have been iconic role models in a multiplicity of ways, and we're very, very happy to welcome them to share this significant moment in our lives. Welcoming Bernie is particularly a happy moment. She is one of our own sisters of whom we are extremely proud. On behalf of the staff and students of the college, I express our appreciation of her presence with us today, a presence which endows this auspicious occasion with grace and solemnity. But the real chief guest today, without whom we would not be here at all, are you, my dear students, the ones who are graduating today. Though this is not officially a convocation, it is nevertheless a rite of passage. It marks a threshold, a portal. Till now, you've been still in the child, teenager, student mode. With the graduation, you cross the threshold into the adult world, and from now on, you take full responsibility for who you are and what you become. I ask you at this point to take a moment to pause and reflect. Look back on the years that you have spent at Sophia. There will have been moments of camaraderie and laughter and fun in the canteen on the central lawn, at Andapav, Dosawala, all of those favorite places. There will have been moments of intense intellectual delight and excitement, both in the classroom and outside. Times of heated discussion, nail biting anxiety as you wait for the question paper to be distributed in the examination hall, eager anticipation of events and celebrations. There will also have been times when you felt discouraged, when the challenges seemed too much to handle, when it seemed impossible to go on. That you are here today, my dear students, is indication that you were able to go beyond those moments. But they too have played their part in your development. And there are so many family, friends, teachers, non-teaching staff, inextricably linked in your memory with all that is Sophia and all that the last few years have meant. Today, as you look back, I invite you to thank them all, especially your parents and family, but every single person who has played a role in your journey to this day. To be grateful for all those moments, the joy-filled ones and the difficult ones alike, for each has contributed to who and what you are today. Poised on the threshold, one looks forward as well as back. And today you look ahead, I hope, at a vista of hope, a horizon of endless possibilities beckoning you forward. The old song tells us, Ke Sara Sara, whatever will be, will be. And yet, it is our choices at every moment that will contribute to what that future will be. It is our choices that make us who we are, just as it's the choices of the management and the staff that have made Sophia College what it is. As we watch you take your first steps into that future, we're very aware that it is a troubled world that you enter. The pandemic itself is a huge challenge, a crisis of gigantic proportions. But we also need to be aware that today, the very foundations of ideals of unity and diversity, of understanding, of equality and justice and liberty for all seem to be under threat. It is our fervent prayer, my dear students, that your choices will be determined by a belief in the essential interconnectedness of all life, of all the universe, a belief in the essential goodness of all people that has not yet been tarnished with disillusionment and betrayal, a trust in the future springing from a trust in oneself, a concern for others that has been nurtured by the close camaraderie that has existed here in the Sophia family, a responsibility for the world beyond one's own interests and concerns, a commitment to integrity and compassion and justice and peace. These are some of the key elements in the goals that we have striven to attain here in the college. We hope that some of the values that you have imbibed here are what you will carry out with you, together with the degree certificates. At present, the times we live in call us to be alert and sensitive to the shifts in perception and presentation which confront us on every side. They call us to stand up for what we know to be right, to speak out against injustice and oppression wherever we may encounter it. I know that you will do your best to hold fast to the values that you have imbibed over the years, that you will seek to make choices that will enable you to remain true to who you are while striving to survive and progress in the great big world outside. Neither dreams nor hopes can be realized. No amount of gratitude-filled memories can suffice unless every moment is embraced with all of your being. Half-hearted efforts, half-hearted living, half-hearted commitment will only bring incomplete results, unsatisfactory conclusions, unfulfilled aspirations. Investing all of oneself carries the risk of failure, sure, but it also holds out the promise of success. For each of you, my dear students, I pray that you may have the courage and the magnanimity to give yourselves completely to all that you undertake. Profession, a career, a relationship, a family, whatever. Only then can you be said to have lived. And most important of all, my dear students, you need to believe in yourselves, in your own efforts, your guiding principles, the values you live by. These form the legacy with which we, the preceding generation, your parents, your teachers, has endowed you. We have striven to instill these principles and values, this sense of integrity into you because they are important to us and because you are important to us. We have invested our time and energy, our loving and involvement in you. You are our offering to the future, but you are more than that. You are your own offering to the future. And as you look out into the brave new world, our prayer for you is that you will find it welcoming and hospitable, and that your dreams and hopes for the future may be realized.
Thank you so much, sister, for your opulent words. I now take this opportunity to introduce our very illustrious keynote speaker, Dr. Sister Bernadette Mary Porter. We are truly honored to have you in our midst on this significant occasion, sister. Sister Dr. Bernadette Mary Porter, CBE, is a British Roman Catholic nun, educator, and academic administrator. She was educated at Merrow Grange Grammar School, Guildford, Digby Stuart College, and King's College, London. She served as Vice Chancellor at Roehampton University from 1999 to 2004, having previously held various posts at Roehampton Institute. She began her Roehampton journey as a student at Digby Stuart College in the early 1970s. After completing her PhD at King's College, London, she returned to join the teaching staff of the newly formed Roehampton Institute of Higher Education. She also holds honorary doctorates from the Universities of Surrey, Middlesex, and Leicester. She is a Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts in England. In 2004, she received the Medal of CBE from the Queen. Sister Porter was appointed Principal of Digby Stuart College in 1987 and Pro-Rector of the Roehampton Institute in 1993. She eventually went on to become Rector in 1999, leading Roehampton on an ambitious 5-year journey, which saw the organization transition from an institute of the University of London to a partner in the Federal University of Surrey, before proudly achieving an independent university title in the summer of 2004. Mr. Porter became Roehampton's first Vice Chancellor, one of the very few female Vice Chancellors in the UK. About her appointment, Mr. Porter says, and I quote, "We were in the midst of the process to attain university status. It was a demanding but exciting time in Roehampton's history. The shortlist for the post was 4 men, all holding pro-vice chancellor positions, and myself, a younger, less experienced female candidate." Close quotes. After retirement from Roehampton in the autumn of 2004, Sister Porter has continued her work within Catholic education as chair of the Diocesan Education Committee, and of course with the Society of the Sacred Heart, first as provincial treasurer and today as treasurer general. Sister Porter received the award of Fellow of the University of Roehampton in 2006. As treasurer general of the Society of Sacred Heart, she traveled to India in 2015 and had the pleasure of seeing our beautiful campus in Mumbai. She says that she is honored to be asked to address our graduates. I now kindly invite you, sister, to address your keynote address.
Somebody's done a lot of research on me. I wouldn't have been able to record all that myself. And now I'm just a simple sister who, when Sister Ananda invited me to be the keynote speaker at your graduation, I was delighted and honored. I think I was particularly delighted to address this group of graduands because you are special. You are special to all of us because you have come through 2 of the most difficult years the world has ever known because of COVID. And it came at a time when you were doing finals and looking for jobs. And I can't imagine what it is to be a young person in today's world and how many more challenges you had than I had 50 years ago when I was being a student. So congratulations on what today represents to you. In giving my talk, I'm a teacher, and I like to say, I'm going to tell you these 3 things and then say them and then remind you what I've said, so that if at any point your mind goes off on a little imaginary journey, you'll at least know when you come back where I am in my speech. So my first point is about really giving thanks. Sister Ananda has just expressed that to your parents and friends, but I want to take it a little bit further about giving thanks to the world in which we live. My second point is about carrying on learning throughout our lives. And my third point is a bit of an elaboration on that wonderful quote from Mahatma Gandhi, "Be the change you want to see in this world." So, point 1, giving thanks. For me, and especially post-COVID, I think it's important not just to give thanks, but to say it aloud, to really speak our gratitude aloud. I've just come back to London from Rome, and I find a different mood in the town. I find that people are looking down, they're hidden behind masks, there is less of a certainty and openness. There is more hesitancy and shyness as a result of this global pandemic. So I'm consciously saying to myself, even though I have to wear a mask, be open, say your thanks aloud, not only to family and friends and children and teachers, but also to the people you meet in the marketplaces, to the drivers and the transport people, to those in hospital or in your daily life. Let us really, as a result of this pandemic, learn again how interdependent we are, and how for us as people who have been Sacred Heart educated, we can really take a lead in giving thanks to each other, to our locality, and to our world. So my second point, I like to think that we are younger, or stay younger, and stay more interesting people the longer we carry on learning. Learning is a precious gift that has been given to some of us in greater or lesser measure throughout our lives. Some of you may go on to do higher degrees. Some of you may choose to go on learning online. Some of you may learn other languages. We can learn a lot through YouTube. When it was the pandemic in Italy and I was locked in with only my sisters for quite a few months, I taught myself to paint through the YouTube. And there are so many lessons there. And of course, it took practice and I made mistakes, but I'm really confident now in expressing myself in colour because of the pandemic. So that's just an example of the university of life and how technology and other things can really help us to be curious, to read, to follow through things that we have half heard about, to become interesting people. Don't underestimate the value to the world of never being tired of life, because if you're not tired of life, you will give life and never stop learning. I'm 70 this year and I've just volunteered to go to Vietnam. I won't know the language, I've never been there, I won't know the people, but one thing I do know is that I will learn a lot from that experience. My family call me Sister Saigon because I'm going to Ho Chi Minh. So throughout life, we can always have new experiences that teach us who we are and who we want to be. So the third point I want to say to you is of your wonderful, wonderful prophetic hero figure who I admire so much, Mahatma Gandhi. And he has said to the whole world, be the change you want to see in the world. That is probably one of the most often quoted phrases to come out of your wonderful culture. And of course, today there are so many global challenges, climate change, not only on a political and sustainable development goals level, but in our own villages and towns. And there are so many fractured relationships. So many places there's a lack of democracy and a lack of fairness and a lack of integrity in public life. But there's also poverty, loneliness, and lack of meaning around us. I would say to you, don't try to take on the whole world, because that might be a little disheartening. But I'm sure one step at a time, we can make a difference to our world as Sacred Heart graduates. I love that story. You probably know it. It's called The Story of the Starfish by Lauren LSC. Look it up if you don't know it. And there's a little boy standing on a seashore throwing starfish back into the sea so that they can not drown and die. And an elder, apparently wise man, comes along and says to him, "What are you doing that for? There's hundreds of starfish along the seashore. It won't make a difference." And the little boy just picked up one more starfish, threw it into the sea, and said, "It will to that one." And that, I think, is the attitude we need to go through life with. Any little bit we can do to, in the broadest sense, recycle, reuse, reclaim, relearn, then our children and our children's children, the people around us, will do the same. So education is really drawing out the best in each person. As I was listening to Sister Anila, I thought, she knows you. She knows you so well. As, of course, addressing Roehampton students, I would have said exactly the same things as she did. It is the key to success. Education makes us aware, not only of the knowledge we have, but of skills and ethics. So I've talked to you about three things: to give thanks, to carry on learning, and to be the change you want to be. I'm going to finish with something from a different nation, because we're all global citizens, another of my heroes, and another quote that I often use at graduation, because if you remember nothing else, just think about the implications of this little speech. And it's taken from Nelson Mandela's inaugural speech to his nation after he'd come out of that long prison internment and finally was going to be president of South Africa. And he said this to his people: "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and famous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own lives shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. Graduands, congratulations. Go out into the world and let your light shine. Thank you.
Thank you, sister, for your very inspirational words and a rather graceful speech. We will now have a photographic traversal of the degree conferring. Postgraduate degrees conferred to MSc Biochemistry, MSc Chemistry, MSc Life Sciences, MSc Microbiology, graduate degrees conferred to BA Economics, BA Hindi Literature, BA English Literature, BA History, BA Philosophy, BA Psychology, BA Sociology, graduate degrees conferred to double major students, BA Economics double major, BA Education double major, BA Education double major, BA Literature, English Literature double major, BA Hindi Literature double major, BA History double major, BA Philosophy double major, BA Political Science double major, BA Psychology double major, BA Sociology double major, graduate degrees being conferred to BMM students, BMM Advertising, BMM Journalism, graduate degrees being conferred to science students, BSc Chemistry, BSc Life Sciences, BSc Microbiology, BSc IT, BSc Biochemistry, on behalf of everybody present here, a very hearty congratulations to all our dear students for your stupendous achievements. I now invite Sister Ananda to officially give her blessings to our students.
My dear students, normally we would have had a sending forth in the chapel, which ended with a formal blessing. Oh, you've been shortchanged in so many ways, but so we're going to incorporate the blessing right here. I ask all of the staff members to join me in this solemn blessing. Extend their hands. We do not know what that future may hold, the future into which you walk today, especially given the uncertain times we live in. But we pray that you may be led, guided, and protected by God in the future as you have been in the past. We pray for focus and clarity and a sense of calling to understand your purpose, your unique role in life, and the courage to respond and step towards that purpose, that role. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live a tireless quest for integrity deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and to turn their pain to joy. May God bless you with foolishness enough so that you may believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done. Most of all, may God's blessing rest upon you. May God's love light up your life. May hope spring from your hearts as you look towards tomorrow. May your days be filled with great adventures and discoveries, and may you live, love, and give of your best to bring to each one of you and to all those around you the fullness of joy and life. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sister. I would now like to ask our dear students to continue nurturing their bond with the college by kindly enrolling with CISA. This ex-students association with a very strong social consciousness will also give them the opportunity to organize various activities for the college, as well as work with the underprivileged section of the society. We now come to the end of this virtual degree conferring ceremony, and no ceremony could be given a closure without delivering the vote of thanks. So I take this opportunity to humbly thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Sister Bernadette Porter, for gracing the occasion with her presence, Sister Rosa McKeel for being the driving force behind CUC as the student's dean. A big thank you to CUC batch 2021-22, to IQAC, to our dear principal, Dr. Sister Ananda Amrit Mahal, for being the backbone of the institution, all the vice principals for being present here, all our dear students, staff members, and parents for being here today. I now request everybody to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे